So Mohamed Noor, the Minneapolis police officer who shot Justine Damond, just successfully appealed his third-degree murder conviction, and now that will be vacated and he will be resentenced under his manslaughter charge. What the heck happened? Let me explain it to you from the perspective of a Minnesota lawyer. Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. I'm a lawyer. I'm also a legal and political commentator. Wherever you're watching, go ahead, hit like, hit subscribe, turn on your notifications, all of that good stuff. You don't want to miss any videos. And if you think this is interesting or helpful, or I don't know, just like me, share it around and let other people know what's going on. Okay, so this is the case of Mohamed Noor. He is, like I said, a Minneapolis police officer, and he shot a woman named Justine Damond, or Justine Rushek, probably pronouncing that wrong, in Minneapolis a few years back. He was charged and sentenced for third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter, which, if that sounds similar to what happened to Derek Chauvin, it is a similar charge and conviction. And actually, Mohamed Noor's conviction on third-degree murder became a point of contention in Derek Chauvin's case. And later on in this video, I will explain how this might impact Derek Chauvin overall. So that being said, here is what's going on. This is from CNN, but don't hold that against me because their reporting on this is pretty basic and I will expand upon it. Minnesota court vacates ex-cop Mohamed Noors' third-degree murder conviction. Minnesota's highest court on Wednesday vacated former Minneapolis police officer Mohamed Noors' third-degree murder conviction for the fatal shooting of Justine Rushek while responding to her 911 call. They should have written call there. Now, the reason I said Justine Damond and they say Justine Rushek is she went by Justine Damond, and Damond is the last name of her former fiance, Don Damond. And that is the disconnect there. It's also easier to say Damond, and that is how most people seem to know her in my experience. The court said there was insufficient evidence to sustain the conviction and ordered that he be sentenced on his conviction for second-degree manslaughter, a lesser charge. This ruling supersedes a previous appeals court decision in February against Noor that opened the door to reinstating a third-degree murder charge against former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, who was convicted in April on state murder charges in George Floyd's death. Mary Moriarty, the former chief Hennepin County public defender, said she does not believe the decision will affect Chauvin's case because his second-degree murder conviction has not been reversed. Chauvin was only sentenced on the most serious charge of second-degree murder per state sentencing guidelines. Now, again, I mildly disagree, but also agree with the Hennepin County public defender that it won't impact his current sentence unless something were to happen to the second-degree murder conviction, which seems unlikely but is possible. However, his team will probably still attempt to appeal the third-degree murder charge and get it removed in case they are able to get other charges removed. And they probably should, because if they're successful on appealing the second-degree murder charge, you would definitely want the third-degree murder charge removed as well. And this provides a basis to do it. But why? Why is this happening? Why is this decision being reversed? I've actually talked about this extensively on these two cases, and I actually disagree with how the Supreme Court is interpreting the statute. That being said, they're the Supreme Court, so they get to win on the issue. Kind of like cheating, but just kidding. They have made finally a decision that sort of finalizes the ambiguity here that we saw in the district courts and in the appeals courts. So the way third-degree murder works in Minnesota is a little bit weird. Basically, you have to put multiple other people in danger with a depraved mind or a reckless disregard for their safety or their life. And so what they're arguing here is that since Mohamed Noor directed all of his actions towards Justine Damond by firing a gun into her, that was not sufficient to put others, plural, into danger. Now, I don't actually read others as necessitating a plural in the law, which is where my disagreement stems from, but again, the Supreme Court gets to win on this issue. And the appeals court argued that the bullet, had it not struck Damond, could have struck anyone else in the area, but they're saying there's no evidence that that might have occurred. So, how does this factor in with Chauvin? Well, in a similar way, all of his action was directed towards George Floyd. There was no one else at risk of being put under the knee of Derek Chauvin at the same time as Floyd by that same act. It would have been a distinctly different act. So, under the same logic, Chauvin's third-degree murder charge should be removed in the same way that Mohamed Noors is. So that's how third-degree murder works. It's a very weird statute in Minnesota because of the wording and the interpretation, requiring that more than one person be put at risk of death in the carrying out of the death of the person who dies. I don't know. That's how they've gone ahead and done it. And that is how it might apply to Derek Chauvin's case. So what does this mean for Mohamed Noor? Does he get out of prison? No, he does not. He gets to be resentenced under his second-degree manslaughter conviction. Now, third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter actually look really, really similar. The only difference is you do not really require that depraved mind element that changes something from a manslaughter to a murder. And without that depraved mind element, you don't need to have a reckless disregard for the safety of others in the area, just the sole target, the sole focus of your animus. So that is why he will still be convicted on his second-degree manslaughter charge. This changes his 12.5-year sentence to something lower. The maximum charge for a second-degree murder conviction would be a 10-year sentence. So that is probably somewhere in the area where he'll be. Now, will they give him the maximum? I don't know. They didn't, I believe, give him the maximum for the third-degree murder conviction, so it could actually reduce his sentence significantly below that 10-year amount. And we'll have to wait and see what the hearing results are and what the judge decides on resentencing for Mohamed Noor. And until then, we can only speculate. But I do not think it would be out of question to see his sentence reduced to something like 7 or 7.5 years in prison, which means he would get out significantly sooner than that. But we'll have to wait and see. But why don't you guys tell me what you think down in the comments below? Again, I disagree in general with how the Supreme Court has read the third-degree murder statute in Minnesota. I do not think it contains necessarily a plural requirement, but since the Supreme Court has decreed it, that is the way it goes. And now all third-degree murder charges will need to take that into consideration, and all defense attorneys will need to consider that as part of their defense for those charges. But anyway, I hope you guys found this video educational and useful to you. And if you did, again, please share it and drop a comment down in the comment section, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Peace. Peace.